Hi, my name is Nadia, and today our group will present about 10.3 million ringgit Malaysia tax from Nooryana Najwa. And the title of our article is LHDN drops appeal to recover 10.3 million ringgit in tax from Najib's daughter. And the author of this article is V.M. Belegans. He is a senior manager reporter. He has a vast experience in writing articles about economy and legal related cases in Malaysia, such as Kevin Morai's murder and Riot trial case. The date of this article being written is 5th of October of 2022. But first, let me explain what tax administration is. Malaysia adopts the self-assessment system where the taxpayer is responsible for computing one's own chargeable income and tax payable, as well as making payment of any balance of tax due. E-filing or online filing of tax return via the internet is available for those who wish to file their returns using these methods. And tax payment by employees are collected to the compulsory deduction from salary. However, in Nooryana Najwa case, she is the defendant in the suit filed by LHDN in July 2019 after she failed to submit individual income tax return form for the assessment year of 2011 to 2017. The Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, has withdrawn its appeal against a High Court's decisions to refuse a summary judgment to recover 10.3 million in unpaid income tax from Najib Razak's daughter Nooryana Najwa. Now, we will look through the chronology of this case.
Nooryana Najwa, as the daughter of Najib, has some issues with the court, which she named as defendant in the suit filed by LHDN. So it started in July 2019. The LHDN suit was filed Yana at High Court after she failed to submit individual income tax returns form for the assessment years of 2011 until 2017. It means that under Section 77 of Income Tax 1967, it means 7 years assessment that Yana does not submit to LHDN to declare her tax. So LHDN has sold over 10.2 million plus interest of the sum of 5% per annum and other relief by the court. In August 2012, the Shah Alam High Court had been tried with LHDN as plaintiff represented by Officer Nur Hisham Ahmad and AHMADUL Idrus, and Nooryana as defendant represented by Wee Yong Kang and Muhammad Farhan Muhammad Shafi. So LHDN seriously said that Yana did not pay income tax as said before over 10.2 million ringgit. The judgment from Judge High Court Datuk Faizah Jamaluddin rejected the summary judgment application as an affidavit submitted by an officer did not verify and believed that there was no merit to her defense. The court also found that the certificate submitted by the government representing LHDN as proof of the amount of tax due and payable was not signed by LHDN Director General as required under Section 142 the Income Tax Act 1967. In this act, actually no statement made or a document produced by or on behalf of any person shall be inadmissible. In evidence against that person in ordinary proceeding against him for an offence under Section 112, 113 and 114 or the recovery of any sum due to by way or tax or penalty by reason only the fact that there was or may have been in use to make the statement or produce the document by any lawful inducement or promise proceeding from the Director General or an authorized officer. So in LHDN is Director General is verify and have can verify any proof if someone not pay the tax. Okay, so that means every piece of evidence the LHDN must have been verified and signed by Director General of LHDN. But in this case, there are no any sign verified from Director General. So High Court has been dropped for this. So the one is Nooryana and lost is LHDN.
So what happens next? LHDN to appeal at the appeal court to make a trial because not satisfied with the court's judgment. But after 1 month, lawyer Wee Yong Kang, who represents Nooryana Najwa, said the IRB filed a notice not to proceed with the appeal in October. So, that's mean for all, Nooryana Najwa is not guilty in this case. We can conclude in this case, LHDN versus Nooryana Najib, the judgment from the court has been held and LHDN accepts the decision of the court. If Nooryana guilty in this case, maybe it can be tried by these offences, fines and penalties. For example, failure without reasonable excuse to furnish an income tax return form under provision 112 subsection 1, which the fine can be 200 ringgit to 20,000 ringgit Malaysia or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. It may fail without reasonable excuse to give notice of charge ability to tax under provision 112 subsection 1, same as fine before, 200 ringgit to 20,000 ringgit Malaysia or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. Nooryana also can be guilty because of fails without reasonable excuse to comply with a notice asking for certain information as required by Inland Revenue Board Malaysia IRBM. Under provision 120 subsection 1, which can be fined 200 ringgit Malaysia to 20,000 ringgit Malaysia or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. But as we know, if LHDN verified their proof by Director General, this case will be won by LHDN. The mistake has gone wrong when all of this happens only because of not signing. The rule must be followed and the court has decided. That's it.
Here there are 3 advantages if Yana pays the tax. Firstly, it will give a good impression of the bank. Some people choose to declare only some items as a way to reduce tax payments. There are banks that ask for proof of having sent an assessment tax payment from as an application support document if you want to buy a house or a car. In fact, based on this case, if Yana pays the tax imposed with the appropriate amount, this will open bright opportunities for financing banking institution and facilitate any business involving the bank in the future because it has a good record. Next advantage is facilitate business abroad. Tax evasion can result in a person being prohibited from travelling abroad. Yana can obtain authorizations from the immigration departments to travel abroad if, in this instance, she pays off all of her tax-related debts. Lastly, it will not burden yourself. In this case, if she pays the tax in the taxable year and does not delay her tax payment, she can avoid her debt increasing further and avoid a court case where she could be convicted or jailed. Bank deposits, stocks, jewelry, houses, and anything else belonging to her will not be confiscated or auctioned if she does not delay paying tax in the taxable year.
So, we may wonder what will happen if we do not pay the tax that have been set. Many people know that the tax declaration and payment process is a simple process, but not everyone wants to do it. So, based on case in this article, the IRB has demanded Najib's daughter, Nooryana Najwa, to pay tax amounting to RM 10.3 million. The IRB therefore insists that they are entitled to recover the amount of income tax still owed as well as the increase imposed on the defendant as a tax due and payable. According to the plaintiff, until now, the defendant has still failed to pay all the income tax amount. So here are some disadvantages of not paying tax. Firstly, tax debt will continue to increase. If Yana decides that she refuses to pay tax the taxable year, it will only complicate her life. In this scenario, she will be penalized for not paying tax. Some of the penalties imposed are penalties for failure to submit income tax return under Section 112 Substan 1, failure to report correct income under Section 113, and failure to pay tax on time. Second is penalty. If Yana do not pay tax Rm 10.3 million, she may be subject to penalties if convicted. Penalty is a payment fine who is charged is according to the amount issued by the court. The more tax is owed, the higher the penalty Yana will be charged. The third is risking court actions or jail. Yana's failure to pay tax can lead to court action and confiscation of property and belongings. And the last one can go abroad. Yana's failure to pay tax can prevent her from leaving the country. So if Yana wants to go out, she has to explain the tax areas first. Lastly, what we get from this case is we have learned the importance of tax assessment for individual and business. So we also hope that we can apply what we learned from Taxation 1 to do our own self-assessment tax based on employment income. So that's all from us. Thank you.